Welcome to Pole Shift News. Guys, this channel and website is most certainly under attack. The traffic within the last week has been slashed by 90%. We were receiving around over 1,000 views on the website alone, let alone the YouTube channel. And I don't know how accurate the figures are for that, but definitely Google are working with some of these other agencies, to mention one, GCHQ. I mean, this is an attack on its own people. You know, the governments, in order to keep channels that are trying to inform other people, you know, you guys, the common people on the ground level, they're trying to claw back the audience to mainstream media, and they know they've lost their attention. And it's simply because, you know, channels, I mean, I don't knock on so much as a lot of other channels about the truth movement and how much mainstream media are just, you know, fabricating news to tailor a purpose, you know, or an agenda. You know, you can hear this on other channels, but the fact is, you know, YouTube has been inundated with this cyber attack in behaviour that we're seeing right here. I'm going to show you something, guys. This is Google Analytics, and I've only showed you a small portion of what I've got available to me on this open page. I thought by using Google Analytics it'd give me an idea of how many people were actually using the channel, so I could see what sort of pages people were interested in, and I could probably do a bit more work on those pages that were being viewed more than any other, because it gave me some idea of as to how to target, you know, the information that people are looking for, and then what, you know, page next, and then what page next. So, for instance, if it's solar data that most people are interested in, then, you know, I was going to, you know, target my efforts on that. But what this is doing is demotivating people like me. I mean, I know this is a clear tactic that they're using. You know, make people like me believe that what we've got to show other people isn't worth viewing, and, you know, eventually they hope we will move on and do something else. You know, it has happened to a lot of other channels as well as mine, and they came up with the excuse that, you know, some of the contents on some of the videos in YouTube wasn't suitable for a wider audience, and for that reason, you know, they can't get the advertisement. It's just a load of lies. Oh, I want to just tell you now, it's just a load of lies. It's nothing short of censorship. And you've got to ask yourselves a question, guys, is if they are censoring information like I show on this channel, then is there truth to it? You know, there's been a lot of things I want to briefly mention. First of all, over the last few weeks in the UK, you know, I've been talking about some of the sub-zero temperatures that we've been experiencing, and I said that this was going to be something most people aren't going to associate with, you know, global cooling. It is global cooling because if you go onto the Pole Shift News website, you'll see some of the charts in climate on the climate page indicating a specific graph where CO2 continues to increase, yet global temperatures are decreasing. And therefore, it can't be CO2 which is causing the increase. We know this because if we look at sunspot data, it gives us more accurate impression as to what's actually generating more heat. And, you know, it shouldn't come as a surprise to most of us, but most of us have been fed this story till we're almost believing it now, that CO2 is responsible for global warming, and therefore it can't be something as trivial as sunspots. But it should come as no surprise that the more active a sun is, the more production of solar radiation it's going to emit, and this is the case. And sunspots is a good indication as to predicting future trends with climate. The other thing is, I mention it so many times, is that we're in a pole shift. Yeah, we've lost 20% of our Earth's magnetosphere, and that's going to cause cosmic rays to become inbound, and, you know, it's going to produce more water droplets basically in the air. It's going to set up a positive feedback for cloud seeding. And if you've got more cloud, then you're going to be blocking out more solar radiation. And therefore the Earth in this own right is going to cool. But we are, the other day I put on a video yesterday only about, we're not in an ice age. We've already been, we're not going into an ice age because we're already in an ice age. We haven't left the last ice age. We are going back into a glacial period. Now, if you look at the solar data, you'll see there's 11,000 year of sunspots recorded history, and you can see that the trend has constantly declined over the last 11,000 years, and we are going back into another glacial period. That's what we're going into. And glacial periods last a lot longer than mini ice ages. Mini ice ages might last, like the Maunder minimum, only 50 years, but glacial periods can last thousands of years, guys. You know, there is a concerted effort right now by these big organisations to do what they can to shut channels down like this. I've only got one backup means, and that is my website, which has been secured through crowdfunding from you guys, a few of you guys, for the next 5 years. They can, I mean, you guys have been telling me over the last week, when we put in your website, poleshiftnews.com, your address, it comes up 401 error or 404. So, it's being blocked. It's being blocked even when you directly type in, the website address. And that's how they managed to slash 90% of the traffic going to my website. But they've not just slashed the traffic going to my website, they've also concealed the actual amounts of people that are visiting the website. Let me show you something, guys. So this is the stats that my website provider, Weebly, are saying that I've had in the last week. Google Analytics are saying that I've had 74 visitors, yet Weebly, who provide the website for me, I have to buy the domain. That's what I secured for the next 5 years, but they're saying we've got 604 views in the last week. So, I just want to point out the importance of this. Google is a monopoly over the internet right now, but Google, through its AdWords and its advertisement, you paid per ad or whatever it is, are going to be doing this with businesses. Yeah, this is a serious topic, guys. If they can do it with a website like this and drive traffic away, if you've got a business and for some reason somebody has an agenda to stop you getting work, they can do the exact same thing. And what Google would like is everybody to pay it in order to get customers, because this is the way things are being done now. Most marketing campaigns and things like this are being done, and done with AdWords and Google. If you've got yourself a business and you know how important the internet is to your business and the customers, because most people want to do their part of their shopping online nowadays. Most people do a lot of their shopping online. But what I'm saying is I'm just showing you how much Google can manipulate the traffic to your website if it has an agenda to do so. In other words, if you're blacklisted by Google, you will not be able to get work. You probably won't be able to find yourself a job. And, it's almost like the mark of the beast being mentioned in the Bible. If you're not part of it, then you're going to be, out of it. And if you're out of it, you're not going to be able to buy a slice of bread. It's a serious matter. Another matter is, guys, somebody's been talking about, why aren't you marketing? Why aren't you putting adverts on your channel? Right, of course, if I start putting adverts on my YouTube channel, what's going to happen is YouTube are going to start saying that the content, regardless of whether it is or not, is not suitable for certain countries, and it will be blacked out. They completely crushed the last channel I had on YouTube with the same thing. When we tried to monetize it, we tried to sell it for £1 a month, we got crushed. So, I'm not going to put adverts on my videos on YouTube to try and get some revenues that way. I'll go without if that's the point, if that's the case, and I'll just rely on, the odd one or two people that fund it. And it will slow the progress down of the channel, but you know what? We're keeping it clean. We're keeping it out. We're keeping these out of our business as much as we possibly can. That's why I don't put adverts on it. The other thing is, someone said, why don't you improve your intro to the video? Guys, I don't see it as being one of the most important things. Yes, I can see it would look more appealing than the one I've got at the moment, but you know what, at the end of the day, you don't buy tools, I hope, just because they look good. You buy tools because they actually do the job you want them to do, as opposed to buying a tool that looks good but doesn't do the job you buy it to do. And that's the simplicity of this channel. It does its job of what it's supposed to do, and that mainly is cover the pole shift news and topics related to the geological magnetic reversal which is taking place, and the weakening magnetosphere, and anything to do with climate related to that. That's what we try and do on this channel, and nothing else. If you want to see what the weather in your local area is doing, then I dare say there is other people on YouTube that will do that job very good for you. And there are people that cover global weather with regards to calling. I mean, I'll even mention one of them. I sometimes watch myself, Adapt 2030. He's very good at what he does. He collects a lot of data on the calling and the grand solar minimum, and he puts the information out there in a really good way. I find it interesting. But you come here for what this observatory does, and that is magnetic reversal, and pretty much full stop after that. The other thing is, guys, we are in some testing times. I could use other words, but we are in some testing times. We've got people that are under attack, much worse than me. And, if they really want to, if these organisations really want to shut me down, they're going to do it regardless. They're going to find some way of doing it. They did it in the end to Julian Assange, who's down there in that embassy in London, and still, not able to leave the building, because if he does, he's going to face immediate arrest, and I think he's going to be extradited to the United States to stand trial for something or other. At the end of the day, what got him noticed on the map, as well as a lot of other things, but mainly the Julian Manning case. You remember the Apache helicopters that opened fire on that minibus, on those people that were carrying cameras on the ground? You must remember it, and next minute you see people doing somersaults in the air because they've been hit by a round of a 50 caliber, gun, a Gatling gun on the front of a Apache helicopter. And later on, they opened fire on the minibus that stopped to pick these people up. I think the underlying story of this matter was it was against the Geneva Convention. You do not open fire on those that are trying to help other people and not a threat to yourself. I think it was an embarrassment to the global governments, not just America, that story escaped, and Julian Assange was one of these people that put that to the public arena. And as a result, now he's had people claiming to him raped them, and other charges. And basically, recently the rape charge, I believe, was dropped. It was just a fabrication. It's just tools that these organisations use against people if they do not follow suit. Okay, we will make you out to look like a rapist. We'll make you look out to be a paedophile. But if you look in just the British government alone, you'll find that these are the nest of paedophiles within, the government and other, well-known families. I'm not going to mention them, but you know what I'm talking about. It's getting ridiculous, guys. I tell you now, if Jesus Christ was on this planet today, he would be crucified 10 times faster than what he was, a couple of thousand years ago. That's the society that we have built ourselves, and it's coming from the governments themselves. I've always said it. If you're a thief and a criminal and you want to get the biggest cash pot you could possibly do, then you got to think along the lines of the taxpayers' revenue. If you can steal that cash pot, there's no need for you to steal anything else. And this has been the scenario for many years now. There isn't a straight government in the world. I don't care. I don't care. At the end of the day, let's not point our fingers at anyone. I mean, why is the American president running doing his job for $1 a year? What else is it in for him? Is he going to be, okay, he had to sign over his businesses, Donald Trump did, to his family members because there was a conflict of interest. But that doesn't stop him sending the contracts through his businesses that his family are holding whilst he's in presidency. And I'm not just going to pick on America because, the UK is the same. At the moment, we've got a raving alcoholic running our country, Theresa May, who is unelected. Just as bad as, the unelected president of Europe right now. It's a no wonder people want to leave Europe. Because these people aren't even elected, yet they're not just running one country, they're running the whole of Europe. I'm not just going to single out Europe and the United States. Let's look at Russia and President Vladimir Putin. He used to work for the KGB, and now he's got £45 billion in his own private account. Something has got to be wrong. If 1 minute you're working for the government, and the next minute you somehow have £45 billion in your own account. This has come from the public revenues. And this behaviour is not being stopped. And you know what these governments are doing now on their own people? They are going out for their own people because they're paranoid. These are definitely the... I'm trying to think of the word. These are the representations of the word schizophrenic, because their behaviour is definitely, psychopathic behaviour. These are the tendencies of psychopaths that you're seeing. Their own countrymen. Over the last week, pensioners had to burn their own furniture to keep warm, because this government let them down. I'm going to slap the government in this video, and I don't care. You know what? You go putting your nose into the business of everybody through their TV so that we can see what you're dictating down to us, right? But I'm just going to say this, right? This is the British government for you. 120,000 people die as a direct result of universal credits in this country. 120,000 people, and children plunged into poverty, right? That of what we would see in third world countries, and yet they've got the audacity to even utter the words out their mouth: terrorism. Terrorists haven't killed the same amount of people what our governments have in the last 5 years with their policies to do with universal credits. 120,000 deaths as a direct result of their policies. And they've got the audacity to turn around and say we need to spend billions of pounds on organisations such as GCHQ so we can monitor terrorism. No, they're more interested in domestic terrorism, or more to the point, what they see as a threat to them. And that comes down to channels like this. You know what, guys? I got no interests in any form of terrorism, computer hacking or anything like that. My interests are clear. You know what my interests are. I've got an interest in science and what is going on with our planet. And that is it. Yeah, would it come to a surprise to you if I had, within the last 4 months, in my own living room, the anti-terrorist unit? Could you believe that, if I told you? And you wouldn't believe the story that they told me in order to come into my living room. Yeah. I'm telling you guys, if Jesus Christ was back on this planet today, he would have been crucified 10 times faster. Why is Julian Assange still having to hide in that embassy that he is in London right now? Because to me he is an example of someone sacrificing himself for the benefit of others. He wanted people to see what was going on, and that's the same for Edward Snowden. He wanted people to see what was going on, and I don't care what your interpretation of Edward Snowden is, or Julian Assange, because you're going to say, oh, they work for the they're working for the government and they're just an example or a scapegoat for others that want to whistleblow. No, it's not true. These people came out, sacrificed their lives for us, and as a result they are having to be punished the way they are now, and it's wrong. You know what we should all do? We should all go down in the UK, down to the British government, and demand, before we move, the release and the free passage of Julian Assange. And we should give him protection, because that's what you should do when somebody reports on a wrong. Because if we allow the behaviour of these governments right now to continue in the path at which they're moving, they will bring hell upon this earth, when our other options are heaven upon this earth. And I know which one I want to live in. I don't want to live in a hell where the corruption is more rewarded and the wicked behaviour is more rewarded than good behaviour. You know, how much persecution have we all got to go through before we change and tip the balance of the way things are right now? We're living in the 20th century, and there should be no world that doesn't have clean water, no country in this world that does not have clean water for its people to drink, and food for its people to eat, and warmth, and an opportunity. But that's not going to be the case as long as things remain the same way they are. And I've got to say this to you guys, the monetary system has to go, because it does no longer reward the hard worker, because we've got hard working people in the United Kingdom now, men and women that are part of one family that are having to go out there to work and still cannot afford, some simple life's luxuries. Children that cannot enjoy, what they should be entitled to enjoy, and that is a childhood, a standard, entry level, if you want to call it that, childhood, a decent childhood. Just a basic, but a good childhood. I've had a bit of a rant, guys, and I just wanted to clear up a few things and a few of my thoughts on a few matters. Was one other point I wanted to make. In the UK, we've had a lot of pipes bursting, and the reason for this is because the ground frost isn't the acceptable level to lay pipes anymore. If you're going to get hard frosts and sub-zero temperatures like you're going to get, then you're going to get pipes bursting if they're not deep enough in the ground. It's as simple as that. But they're never going to change anything about it, because can you imagine what it would cost to relay the pipes of the United Kingdom deeper? These are the signs of, a glacial period creeping in upon us. And as long as things keep moving in this direction, I'll keep reporting on them and bring them to your attention, guys. Because I think you have a right to the truth. Even if it is, you think, an alternative view to climate, I don't mind. But you know what? I try and make whatever statement I bring over to you guys, I try and back it up with some facts and some data. And you know what? I've even gone to the point, thanks to a few of you guys that have stood by me over the years and supported the effort, gone to the trouble of teaching myself C++, electronics, and built the equipment to monitor these things that we talk about on this channel, because who else can we trust? I'll just end it on this note. I want to thank those people that support this channel and the research and the website. Those people that thumb up the videos and, don't make stupid comments on this channel, but make, contributions to this community. I want to thank those people, and I want to encourage people, if they do want to support this research, to use that link down there. Because, if I've only got an onion and some water, I'm going to make you onion soup. If I've got a few other ingredients, then I can do a lot more with it. And that's it, and from my track history that I've always delivered what I've promised on this channel. So, I'll leave it with you guys. You know, I want to thank you for your support. I hope that you continue to support the channel. And, you know, if you're thinking about supporting this channel, then now, guys, is a good time to support it. And with that, enjoy your week, and I'll speak to you again. Bye for now.